Hi, Davide. Hello.
Ciao Barbara, hi, good morning.
And I can leave the floor to you, and I hope, and also I hope it will be. It was an interesting conversation. Bye bye. Bye bye.
You were perfectly on time, so let's start with this conversation. My name is Davide Fassi. I'm associate professor at the design department in Politecnico, and I'm very glad today to interview Teresa Franqueira from Universidad de Aveiro, associate professor there. But first of all, very good friend and very estimated colleague. So hi Teresa, ciao.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome to this conversation. We are just 3 hours after the beginning, so let's say the warm up has already started. So we could share some thinking and some talk about the keywords that today you have chosen. But before that, let me introduce again a little bit yourself, because we are belonging to, both of us, we are belonging to DESI's network, that is the Design for Social Innovation and Sustainability Network, that actually today has kind of more than 50 DESI's labs in the world. And this is part of a big network of people, students, researchers, universities that are dealing with this issue that today are very, very at the center of this post-emergency after the pandemic issue. And more, there is another very good relationship with you and with your university, because you are part of the MEDES program. We started this morning with Marzia Mortati and with people from KISD. And MEDES program is a very interesting network at the European level that allow our students to spend a couple of years in the partner schools who are belonging to the network. And so through the last years, we try to enrich more and more the relationship with Aveiro and with Portugal. So again, welcome.
Thank you, David. And first of all, let me just congratulate Polimi for this great initiative. And thanks for the invitation. I've been listening so many interesting speakers and see so many friends. And of course, being interviewed by you is a pleasure, David. So we are old friends, as you have said, and this is buddies since the beginning of the network. I have done my PhD at Politecnico di Milano, so we have also this straight relationship. And when I returned to my home institution, the University of Aveiro, I set up a DESI's lab, and I remember that I was the only one working on social innovation back in 2009, 2010. And then I had one or two colleagues that were convinced by this idea, and now our DESI's lab have more than 10 people and counting, so which is a good thing for the social innovation scenario. Also, you have said that we are part of the MEDES program, and in fact, it's an innovative partnership of 7 European design schools that allows our students to live in 3 different countries and study in 3 different schools during their education process. And now, of course, they are living a virtual mobility as so many students around the world because of the COVID-19. Also, I have to just make a parenthesis because I'm responsible for Design Factory in Aveiro since 2016, and it's also a place for experimental research and multidisciplinary and collaborative approaches that are design-led. So more or less these relationships that we have also with Poly Factory. And so do you want to ask me something about my...
Yes, sure. So you're busy all the time because you are part of different networks and international globetrotter, let's say. Yes, okay. You chose a keyword that is very interesting, and the keyword is disruption. So could you tell a little bit more about this word, the meaning, and why did you choose it?
Yeah. So in fact, the first word that I thought it was hope, but then I decided to change it to disruption. And in fact, the meaning of the word is the action of preventing something, especially a system, process, or event, from continuing as usual or as expected. Or it can be the action of completely changing the traditional way of doing something. And right now, I think we can't go back to where we were before. So I think we need to prevent the system from continuing as it was in the pre-COVID area. And I connect with this idea of innovation and idea of future. And when you design, you are creating something that doesn't exist and always entails the idea of future. So when you anticipate the future, because we are imagining and materializing it through projects and building this artificial world, you can act on reality and change it and shape it instead of reacting to it. And that is, you can disrupt the old system and build a better one. So this entails also the idea of hope that I said before, of designing a positive and a better future. And of course, I think when we talk about design, it's impossible not to talk about innovation, because there is no design with innovation. And when I think about innovation, I think about Joseph Schumpeter. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing correctly. It was an Austrian economist that introduced the term of creative destruction in 1942, and was based on entrepreneurs, this idea of Schumpeter. But we can say that somehow a designer is also an entrepreneur. And for Schumpeter, it was someone that was able to perceive new combinations and introduce innovations that conduct to a creative destruction of the status quo by introducing a radical innovation that destroyed the existing balance, causing all the inventories, ideas, technologies, skills, and equipment to become obsolete. So simplifying a little bit, what I want to introduce in this discussion with this word is that design should promote these new approaches and try to be a disruptive agent in the system and for the system.
It's very, very interesting, because in the last month, I think that the COVID itself was a kind of disruptive action that happened in our life and completely changed our habits, our daily life, our connection, our relationship, and let us thinking about what happened after. So what will we do after that? Is that something that is exceptional or something that will be repeated? How can we react to these issues? So,
yeah, because you are completely right when you say what we have right now is a disruption. What we are facing is precisely a reality where a virus has changed the way we've been living for the last decades. So we've been damaging the environment, we've been over-consuming, and we are creating imbalances in the planet and in societies. And suddenly we have this massive and global behavioral change with the lockdown, where it was possible suddenly to put almost the entire world population at home. And if we don't take this opportunity to reset the system and leverage the change into disruption, we will be missing the chance and get back to where we were before and doing business as usual. So I think, in fact, design can anticipate the future and can shape it and can act on that instead of reacting and fixing the errors. And it's almost a paradox if design doesn't take this opportunity to change the system right now.
So you think that when we talk about disruption, it's something that is for sure related to what we have lived in the last month or in the last weeks, or with someone is still living, but it could be connected even to what happened after. So how design in a way could be disruptive, how us as professor, as teachers, as researcher, could trigger these disruptive
absolutely
movement towards students or toward research. Is that this connection with the disruption and post-COVID?
Absolutely, because I think there are so many people that have been talking today, and it will be talking during this 24 hours marathon, that are teachers. Some are professionals, but I think there are a lot of people in academia.
Yes, there are some issue about the connection. Sometimes there are some issue about the connection, but don't worry, go on.
Okay. But because there is a responsibility as teachers that we have this blank canvas for the education of future generation of designers. And in fact, we can shape a little bit the future in the way we teach our students to be disruptive, how they can regenerate the planet, instead of repairing and fixing. We have the opportunity to change completely the next design generation, and we have this responsibility, and we can be disruptive because we all know that we are having online classes around the world. We can innovate on that, and design should lead also this change, not only in the design education, but also education at large.
Yes, I think that's a very interesting point. 1 month ago, or almost a couple of months ago, there was this conversation that was held online among all the labs, more than 50 that are involved in the network, both covering the Western part and the Eastern one. And these conversations were about what is happening or what will happen after this emergency, trying to understand if there were any example, any best practice, any change in the teaching, in the researching, in design output that all those labs were sharing or were offering to the community and to the society, let's say, to face these very particular moment of our life. And I was impressed at that time how many projects were developed very fast to face this issue. Some of them, according to what you were telling before, are a kind of reaction. So kind of reaction to something that is happening. So I could fix an issue because I'm in an emergency. So if I can't go out to have shopping for my daily life, to go to the butcher or to the vegetable shop, maybe I can be connected to my neighbor and we can share the number of times that we are going out and make shopping. And so this is a kind of service, let's say, that in a way could be even organized in with a kind of infrastructure. Someone showed some apps that put people in connection. Others showed some website that allow you to understand which is the queue out of the supermarket. That was kind of reaction. Do you think that during this emergency, even according to your experience, your personal experience, and your personal even daily life in Porto, do you think that there was any disruptive action or just reaction during the emergency?
Well, I think in Portugal, maybe there were a lot of reactions, even if the European Commission has said that Portugal, it was the country in Europe that had more social innovation initiatives for the COVID-19, but they were not disruptive. Let's say citizens were mobilized to do something, but it was nothing that it was innovative or disruptive. In fact, I see more disruptive initiatives in Milan, which is also a special city, more than in Portugal, unfortunately, because I would like to see more disruptive or innovative initiatives and projects here. I think people react quite fast, as you were saying. For instance, I have changed completely the projects I was developing with my students, and we developed projects for the COVID-19, and also try to think in the future what is going to be our lives after this.
Yes, I think that there are a lot of examples of reaction, as you were mentioning, and there are lots of reaction, as you were mentioning, and you were quoting Milan as one of the best practice, and I think that yes, I mean even during
you have a good example too.
Yeah, we have to say that at the end of May, the municipality tried to boost the mobility issue within the city, because as you may understand, Milan is not such a big city. I mean, it's 1,500,000. So compared to some Chinese cities or to some megalopolis, it's not really big, and there is an infrastructure done by metro and done by bus and trams. But once the so-called phase 2 were starting, there was this issue on how to get to work or how to move, because you have to preserve distances, you have to be safe. People would not go to close spaces, capsule like in the metro and so on. And so instead of pushing the idea of using your cars, the municipality decided to push the idea to use your foot, your legs, and your bike. And so in a kind of minute, they decided to implement, to start a kind of to make it easier to create bike path. And so they started to build a 35 kilometers additional bike path in the city of Milan. And so from one day to another, there was this big streets in the center that was completely transformed into something that was more close to the slow mobility or to sustainable mobility. And that was kind of to me, it was not only a reaction, it was really a disruptive act, because it's not a matter of finding a solution, but it's a matter to apply a strategy to mobility. I don't know what's your opinion about.
Yeah, for instance, in Porto, in fact, the mayor has also closed 16 streets from 9 a.m. Saturday till 9 p.m. on Sunday, to cars and to all the vehicles. So, but these changes, they are good because you can promote some a different approach to the public spaces and to the living in the city, but they are not meant to continue. I think they will be disruptive if they have the courage to continue these changes that cities needed. So I think there are some good initiatives around the world. Let's see if they are meant to continue or it's just a remedy for this special moment that we are living. But I really think design could be the agent that can promote this. And if we don't take this chance, this opportunity to show to politicians, to all the decision makers that design has this power, we are really missing a chance.
I don't know what you think about when I thought about disruption in our daily life. I really connected this issue to the public space and to the city. Kind of obvious because of my background. I mean, I'm dealing with interior and spatial design and a little bit with service design. But is there any other field of application in your opinion that this disruption could be applied?
Yeah, I was telling about education. I think it's one of this area, and I think also the some political decisions about the environment. I think they could be disruptive. When we were before the COVID-19, we had these movements of young people, very young people, that were moved and inspired by Greta Thunberg to start to making some pressure in some decision makers about the environment.
And this movement
lost that along the way with also the and I think there are these key elements like public spaces and our quality of life in cities. There are the environmental issue, there are the education issue, and I think there are even the health issue. I think we need to change the way we see the health business or the health system, because we saw that some of our national health systems went bankrupt almost by this. Italy, it was one of the cases, unfortunately, in the north. Even if you have one of the best health systems in the world, so I think there are space for this disruption in these sectors.
There are 10 minutes left to the next guest, but I would love to spend these last 10 minutes to go more in detail about yourself and disruption in your life. So if you want to talk about if you want to connect disruption to your daily life or to your past life or even to what you will do in the future. So could you make an example of a disruptive act in your life and another example of what you would like to do as a disruptive act in the future?
I will answer, but I will ask you the same question.
Oh, okay. I have to prepare myself.
Well, I think one of I'm a very normal and usual and boring person, but I think the most disruptive thing I have ever done, it was probably getting married so young, and it changed completely the way my life. I think right now I'm talking with you because of that disruptive thing I've done. I was studying architecture, so I changed and I decided to study design because of that. It changed, it created a disruption in all my friendship relationships that I had, also in my family. So it was really a disruptive moment in my life. In the future, how can I be disruptive? It's a little bit hard to think about. But you will answer me. What was the most disruptive thing you have done in your life? So
I will leave you some minutes to think about what will be the future.
And you tell me what was it.
I think that in my life, the most disruptive one was when I was 40, and it means kind of 6 years ago. I decided to accept to move to China for 3 years, and at that time, I don't know. I decided to do that because I would love really to challenge myself. No more as a student or for an Erasmus program or for an exchange program, but as a professor and to understand different contexts and to deal with really different environment and different way of thinking.
It changed the way you lived this.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, it did, because doing something like that when you are 25 or 20, it's very different or doing when you are 40. So the new relationship to be built, new stimuli from outside, new research opportunity, and to deal with. And in a way, that thing really changed my life. And so after 3 years, and I went back, I really see some changing in both in how I teach and both in our research, and even enlarge my network of people that support my professional life.
Yeah, but you have the privilege to work in an institution that usually is in the forefront of innovation, and it's one of the.
It is disruptive in a way.
Yeah, and it's one of.
Yeah, that it's Tangier University in Shanghai, and we will have even tomorrow. I mean, we will have Dean Lowe as a guest to be interviewed. So another interview of half an hour. Yeah. We have three minutes left. So, what is your disruptive act in the future? I know you hate me because we didn't prepare this question.
Yes, probably change my workplace. Probably change the place where I work and go to work in another thing, design related, of course, but probably not so academic or research related, but probably it could be one of the most disruptive things that I can probably.
It's really a spoiler of what will happen.
I don't know. I don't know. It could be a disruption, but to change, you need to take risks, and it's not easy to do that. So I'm talking about that design should be disruptive and etc. But of course, change. It takes risks, and sometimes we don't want to get out of our comfort zone and try to do things that we have never done before. So, but there is an opportunity for the design community to really rethink the way we can shape this artificial and natural world.
Yeah, I think that when you talk about disruption, you have to even consider the unexpected. Because sometimes the reaction and the innovation is coming from the observation of the unexpected.
And that's one of the things that designers do quite well, observing the world and see things where others can't see and try to act on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I always tell to my students when especially in service design. I mean, when they are presenting these amazing customer journey or amazing user experience, and say, okay, what happened if someone come and do an action that is unexpected? In a way, that is a disruptive act. That
it is.
But you are able to answer and to redesign and to be resilient in order to manage this issue. What do you think about?
I agree completely what you were saying, and I have to tell you, David, this is one of the best talks that we have. Even if we know for many years, it was really interesting. So let's try to make some disruptions in the system. Let's try to do it.
Let's try to do it, Teresa. I would really to thank you for this half an hour of talk. I think it was very, very interesting. And I will leave this conversation with some thoughts about the future, your and mine. and that's it. So thanks, Teresa.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.